a reign of terror there, despite security presence.
And things have got so bad that the state governor, Abdulaziz Yari, called on President Muhammadu Buhari to declare a state of emergency in Zamfara. Days ago, 7 persons were kidnapped from a viewing center in the state, and not long after that, no fewer than 20 people again were abducted from Zomi local government area.
Well, reports on the incident indicate that the victims included a new bride and some nursing mothers. Well, we have security expert Richard Amoa in the studio here to talk to us about these developments, unfortunate ones, that in Zamfara State. Good to have you.
Thank you
good
so
morning.
Much. Good morning.
You know, this Zamfara thing seems to defy all logic. When you... Okay, of course, we do have a guest in Abuja. He is Ima Shehu, a resident of Zamfara State. Good to have you on the show. Maybe we should even start with you, Ima, since you would, in one way or another, be directly or indirectly affected by the goings-on there with banditry, kidnapping, and all that. What exactly have you been able to, sit back and decipher exactly what is the core of the security threat we've been having in Zamfara State?
Good morning. It's a complicated situation in Zamfara. There are so many factors responsible for the tragic situation that's happening in that state. First of all, you have the traditional herdsmen and farmers conflict. Then you have the conflict that is being generated by illegal mining. Then you have the political undertones playing out also. So basically, these are the three things that are fueling the crisis in my home state.
It's difficult to actually decipher or put to the table, because many people have tried to find solution despite the continued intervention by the military and other security agents within the state. Now, what does it say that sometime in January, the state governor of course, did say that he has resigned as the chief security of the state. If a chief security officer of a state resigns, then the residents.
What he's saying. Well, I didn't hear the last bit.
Okay.
But
all right.
The last bit I heard was about the chief security officer resigning.
Yes, the state governor saying that he has resigned as the chief security officer of the state.
That is an indictment of his position, and we all know that he's been virtually a chief security officer who has been securing travels outside the state and staying in the state to function as a chief security officer. And of course, that's why I mentioned the political aspect. He's not been there to perform his tasks as required constitutionally, and he's realized that politically he's kind of finished. So he's virtually throwing in the towel.
Okay, let's bring it to our guest right here in the studio, Richard Amoa. You're a security expert. You understand the implications of these things. All manner of measures have been put in place, redeployment of security, additional security agencies and forces on the ground there in Zamfara, and these killings continue. As a matter of fact, the governor Abdulaziz Yari came up with one strategy that left a lot of people wondering how much sense that really made, asking people to bring in their AK-47s for 1 million naira. Some people feel that it could just create a bizarre situation for AK-47s in Zamfara State. Yeah. Why do you think all of these measures, all the strategies seem not to be working?
I think I followed this Zamfara issue for a while, and to be sincere with us, sometimes security situation is not just banging the military or the police around, especially when issue like what's happening in Zamfara right now is not really being resolved by the chief executive, who even saying let's declare state of emergency. I think first of all, there should be, the locals should, let's go deep down to the locals to say, to ask each other what's really the problem first. Because I know that the military have gone with the aircraft, I mean the Air Force officers, they've been there for a while, the police have been there, and yet, so I think for me, just like what happened in Plateau State some years back, and once in a while it comes up, I think this Zamfara issue, the governor and the locals need to really ask each other a question. What is the problem? Because it had gone beyond the conventional security stuff right now, because you can't say, okay, we don't have enough military there or we don't have enough police there, and if a chief executive is saying let's declare a state of emergency, it could be making some sense to say, okay, let's have a curfew from time to time, from social time to social time, and see how we can curtail these banditries. So for me, as a consultant security, if I'm giving this a job to do, first of all, I'm going to go to the community. Let's go deep down. What's the problem? I don't think we really have seen what the problem is before we go out with the artillery.
You did try to ask the traditional institutions, exactly this question that you're asking. Now, what is the problem?
Yes.
He even threatened to depose some of the monarchs. He's suspecting that they are in some kind of cahoots with these bandits and kidnappers. Because
don't forget again that if you go, I've not been to Zamfara before, but at least I've been following, and these guys, they live in huts, in different, they're not like together. For example, there could be a village here, another kilometer far long, another so sometime again, the security to checkmate such villages is difficult. Because when the army or the police are in one village to respond to emergency, as they are responding and as they are leaving, another one is happening in another area too.
So Richard, do you think that, sorry to cut in, do you think, because of what you just mentioned now, do you think that perhaps we need to review our strategies to reflect modern ways of dealing with this sort of
when we want to talk about modern, we are talking about technology. We are talking about what they're doing there presently in terms of deploying aircraft, in terms of deploying security personnel. They are doing that. But you see, like I said, our guest in Abuja just said something right now. When we look at the herdsmen and farmers issue, we need to see how we can deal with that. There's a story I read one time from the same Zamfara, how these cattle roasters, what are they called?
Yes.
How they send cattle from Zamfara to Lagos to be sold. You see, there's a whole lot going on in Zamfara state that I feel that the executive, the chief executive, no matter what, need to get to the heart of the locals. You see, in security, you cannot tell me that in that village or in that area, people don't know what is going on. They said they don't want to talk. And that's just it. Because in security, there's always an internal collusion. And you cannot tell me that people are not there to see what is going on. So something is going on wrong. Something definitely is going on wrong in Zamfara as we're talking right now. So for me, if I could back the chief executive, I could say, okay, it's going too wrong now. Mr. President, let's support this man in terms of state of emergency.
Okay. All right. So let me bring in Imai here. I mean, as a resident of Zamfara State, now, if one were to observe the modus operandi of these attackers, they are attacking, herders for their livestock. They are attacking farms for produce. They are kidnapping for ransom and all of that. Don't you think that in itself really should give an inkling as to what exactly is at the core of this? It is both economic and Yeah, a state like Zamfara State, almost 4 million people, there is palpable poverty that you can almost touch. Don't you think this is what is playing out to provide this environment that we're having now in Zamfara?
What is driving the several types of crisis that we're experiencing in Zamfara State? And unfortunately, we've never had a leadership that has sincerely addressed the issue of poverty alleviation in the state. And so what is happening is more like survival of the fittest, which is also being exacerbated by various factions. For instance, there is a subtle land grab that is going on tied to the illegal mining and trans-border banditry. So areas where mining has become very lucrative because Zamfara has quite a lot of gold deposits. And so what is happening is because the mining infrastructure is not properly established, there is a lot of illegal mining, and there are various cartels that are involved in this mining. And as more gold deposits are discovered, these cartels try to push away the citizens from their various places to take over the land. So it's a complex problem, but one way it can be solved is to address the issue of poverty and also improve the level of intelligence within the society, intelligence gathering within the society.
All right, Richard. There are unfounded reports that there could be superiority contests between the state governor, Abdullah Ziyari, and the Minister for Defense, Mansour Dan Ali, because he's from that state. That could also be responsible for the reasons that what is happening in Zamfara is happening in terms of having control of the security apparatus.
I think one area we have discussed in the past about issue of security.
Because the governor did read concern that they had no authority. He couldn't, even if a security officer erred, he couldn't sanction, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm just trying to point out. You know, when we play politics with security, it could be killing. It could be very to the detriment of the people down there. You see, that's one thing we're doing in this country, not just only in Zamfara, even with the ruling party, the oppositions, using security as a means of bringing down the oppositions or the ruling party. You see, when it comes to security, because you have to do with life, you have to do with properties, I think we need to put our head together. And what is happening in Zamfara right now, like the gentleman over there said, I think even sitting down, listen to his analysis about, because it says there, and we are reading from the outside. I think it's beyond what I think just security agencies can do. He said something about gathering intelligence. And that's one thing that has failed in this country. Because without intelligence, there's no way security people can work. And that's why we say in our local parlance that security agencies, they are not witches and wizards. People need to really assist in giving information. But a situation where we have two elephants trying to take control of a state or trying to take control of power and using security, it becomes so detriment. And that's what we keep saying, keep preaching, keep advocating, that people need to stop that. That when it comes to security, it must, every ground must be level, and let's play on it. Because at the end of the day, why are they one killing? They don't kill a brother to the chief executive. They are not killing the relative to the ministers. It is honest people. So that's why even the people themselves need to rise up. I was saying something during the week in a forum that I was invited to, that anybody, our leaders are coming in to ask for our votes. That how many of us have actually asked for their security plans? No, truly. People are not asking, what are you putting in place for security for us in case you get to power? How are you going to help the executive? How are you going to help as a legislator? How are you going to come up with a good laws? Because you see, the problem I think we are having across Nigeria, now we're talking about Zamfara, the other time is Plateau, the other time is Kaduna. You see, you can see that kidnapping has become Oyoyo, what in my local area.
Way of life.
Way of life. Ekiti down the road here in Southwest. It's like you cannot drive around that area. So what we're saying here is that time has come.
It's spreading.
It's spreading. For any leader who is going to come on board, who is not ready to work with each other, let's know what to do. But unfortunately, please, the question asked, do people actually have the power to do that?
That's a question that I would like to ask Ima. How readily or willing, or willingly, if you like, are the people themselves, to provide information that can lead to intelligence so that the security agencies can actually use this to apprehend many of these criminals? Do you see a lot of...
it's a catch-22 situation.
Go ahead, please.
It's a catch-22 situation for the ordinary citizen in Zamfara, because what has happened severally is that when the people in the villages give out information, the bandits and the other criminal elements that are involved eventually get to know who gave out that information, and they come back and take vengeance on the informants. So unfortunately also some of the leaders within the communities are part of this whole criminal setup, and so that makes it very difficult for the ordinary citizens now to voluntarily give out information. So there needs to be a synergy between the government and the citizens to be able to protect those who are willing to give information.
Let me ask you the question I asked earlier, something I pointed out earlier, about the plan by the governor. I don't know if he has put that into effect, of asking people to bring in their AK-47, their arms, for 1 million naira. And some critics say, look, we're going to have a bazaar of AK-47s. Come to think of it, an AK-47 costs about, $500,000 naira. And when you give an incentive of 1 million naira to someone to return their arms, it means, they'll be willing to return those arms only to buy another two. I wonder what is your view, and what is the view of the people in Zamfara, really, about this?
Well, a few people who tried it, they know what happened eventually, that they were hunted down and their communities were attacked. And I think it's just the typical Nigerian way of solving problems. You throw money at it without really trying to understand the problem and working hard to get at the solutions. Part of why you have AK-47s all over the place is because of the transborder problems, the porosity of the border, and the whole criminal thing going on across the borders with Niger and whatever. A lot of arms flowing, smuggling going on across the border. So, I mean, the whole place is awash with arms, and giving money to retrieve the arms is not just going to solve the problem.
All right, Richard, do you think that the traditional rulers have been very well engaged, because it is through them that the mass of the people can be reached, to be educated, to say, look, this is for our good? Do you think that they have been properly engaged?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. And again, we always have been saying again that issue of security education is very important to a whole lot of people, especially for people in that kind of category. They cannot read and write, majority of them, because they are farmers. So I think what I'm still going to advocate sitting here is for the chiefs to be educated on what to do with their people, and their people to be carried along on what to do.
So this is for our benefit.
This is for our benefit. And again, you see, there's a way you report things. Like he said, if people need to be assured that if I give this information, that I'm going to be protected. People need to be assured of that. And how can they do that? Today, but don't forget again, they're in the village. They cannot use all this mobile.
They don't have access.
They don't have access to it. So it's difficult.
So isn't that where public enlightenment really should come to the level of the ordinary, villager?
Through the,
how much of this are you, I mean, we're wrapping now. How much of this really is going on in terms of public enlightenment, for the people, to encourage the people and give them some level of confidence that they can offer information that can help this situation?
Well, I know they've had a couple of meetings with the various stakeholders, but I think it needs to be driven more. There needs to be a proper program put in place, and the determination to see that people are properly enlightened, and like I said, the assurance that if people give information, they'll be protected, because that is key. And then, of course, it's not just giving information, but actually getting to solve a problem or the problems.
Yeah.
All right. Emma Shehu, a Zamfara State resident, we'd like to thank you very much indeed for coming to share your thoughts with us.
And of course, Richard Amoa is a security expert. Thank you for enlightening us on this.
Thanks for having me.